Hey y'all, it's Lucy and I wanted to show you these cute little bird ornaments that I've been working on. They're just made out of cardboard or cardstock. These are the glittered versions, and I've got 3 different birds you can make. The Cardinal. This is actually an Eastern Bluebird. The Western Bluebird has a blue breast, and then little goldfinches. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the easiest one first, which is the Cardinal. It's the simplest. Okay, let me get my supplies here. Okay, these are the Cardinal. This is the Cardinal set. This is a painted one. It is just cardboard and painted. This is one made with just cardstock, so it's a little bit thinner, a little lighter, but still pretty sturdy. And this is a glittered painted one. So what you need to make it is, the pattern is free on my blog, but I'm going to make a cardstock version for you. It's easier to do that on a video. So I always do 2 pieces of cardstock to make it much stronger. And let me show you. This is a painted one, and it's nice and sturdy, and it makes just a great ornament, and it also hangs very nicely. So you get 2 pieces, and I just glue them together, and you can use any kind of glue. This one doesn't matter. When I'm making little houses, you know, things that are really structural, then I use a thicker glue. But all I'm trying to do is get 2 relatively lightweight pieces of cardboard together. And so, usually I kind of smear them a little bit. And you'll notice there is a hole to hang them. And so what I do to line it up is I get a pen. This is my pen that I always use to open up glue bottles. And you know, I'm from the South, so we say pen and pin the same, but I think it's a pin. It's an I. Okay, that's my little lined up the hole. Okay, and then the next thing I do is I actually paint around the edges so you won't have raw cardboard edges. So I paint around it and then just glue on the cardstock. If you were going to paint it, obviously you paint the whole thing red. I used a really nice red called Candied Apple Red. It's Tim Holtz Ranger paint, and it's just a beautiful red. Okay. And the same thing, make sure your hole lines up, so get your pen ready. Yep, so that one's good. And if you don't get it exactly right, at least you painted everything, so it doesn't really matter much if you're just a tiny bit off. Let's apply glue to the other side. Other piece of the Cardinal together. Check to make sure the holes line up okay. Yep, that's good. Alrighty, so let that dry. Then you make the wings. I've already done one, but I'll do another one for you. I like the dimension of the wings, so I made 3 different layers. So you'll have to line the layers up again, just like you did with the body of the Cardinal. So line it up. And this one I can see is pretty well done, so don't really need to check it. Ah, shoot. No, it wasn't right. Because the top layer goes on the middle layer. Just add a little more glue. And I don't think the middle layer had a hole. We will solve that problem. When I first made them, I wasn't sure where the center of gravity was, so at first I made them without a hole, and then I had to figure out how they would hang the best. So I added the hole later on. Okay. Put this together. Line them up again. Okay, You see some glitter because it was in the same box with the other ones. The glittered ornament. My little project box for making the little cardinal ornaments. Alrighty, let's add some glue onto the back. And, oh shoot, I think I made it backwards. Alright, so this was really where it's important to line up the hole, which I can't find. Take it down a little bit. Move it down. I can see it, I'm near. There we go. Okay, so the pin goes through. And here's the trick. You have to make them reverse. So this one, I made 2 wings the same side. So I'll have to go back and make sure I do a wing that fits this way. I happen to make the same one. I've done this mistake several times. That just makes you make, it forces you to make more ornaments. So anyway, that's basically the structure of the cardinal. And then we add the little black marking, and this is a male cardinal. Female cardinals are real pretty too, but the color is not as dramatic. It's more of an orange and brown. It's got red in it, but not as much. And when I get glue, where I don't want it, I just dab it a little bit. Right, there we go. And then I made beaks for all the birds. I tried to make them big enough so that it's not crazy to place them. The other 2 birds have smaller beaks, so they're a little harder to do. Okay, try to ooch it into that little indentation on the black marking. And that's it, except for the eye. And I have this, this is called liquid pearls. Or you could use puffy paint, some kind of thick paint, or just put a dot. The eye is not a major feature on the bird, so I put an eye on the pattern, mainly so it would look okay on the pattern, but I always delete it whenever I do my cutout on my Cricut. So anyway, so that is the cardinal, and then I just thread some, I use a needle and thread and go through the little hole and make my hanging ornament. You can choose to glitter it or not. This one is glued with one of my favorite glitters, which is a distress glitter. It's a, I think it's a glass glitter, and so it's not so sticky. It doesn't spread as easily as a plastic-based glitter. So, or you can leave it plain. And one thing I wanted to show you about leaving it plain is I still like a little bit of dimension to the cardinal. So I'll get like my one of my stamping distressing tools, and I'll kind of edge around it, and it just gives a faint shadow, and that makes the wings show up more too. You see how there's just a faint shadow, and I think that helps. You don't need it on these, on the painted ones, because you've got the dimension of the extra layers, but I like it on the cardstock ornaments that I make. So anyway, that's the cardinal. Let me move this paper out of the way. And the next one we'll do is the goldfinch. Now, I'm not a birder, so I don't really know, oh, a bird, this one has this markings and this one has this mark. I don't really know those things. So I had to look it up. One of the best sites for learning about birds is the Cornell All About Birds. The Cornell University has a big ornithologic department, whatever. I don't think I said it right. A bird department. And I lost my pen. There it is. There's my little pen so I can line everything up. Okay, so again, just like we did, and I didn't make them entirely proportional. The goldfinch is about 2/3 the size of you know, based on my quick reading, of a bluebird. But if I did that, all of them looked cut. This one looked too small, and it kind of lost its effect. It didn't have as much of an impact if I'd made it that small. So I just made the goldfinch slightly smaller than the bluebird, and the Cardinal, just a, you know, a little bit bigger than the Bluebird as well. Because I just didn't want, if they're going to be ornaments, you don't want them to get lost wherever you display them. Okay, no problem. That one's easy. Line that one up. Okay, I've got one that's pre-painted. I painted all around the edges. And here are the sides for the Goldfinch. And I went ahead, just because it's hard to glue stuff when you're demonstrating. Sometimes it's hard to glue little pieces. So I went ahead and glued the beaks on the Goldfinch before, so it'd be dry when I was showing you stuff. But I do want to show you how the Goldfinch beak works. Goldfinch, I think, is a seed eater, so it has a shorter, kind of stubbier bill, stronger bill. And so the shape, the longer side goes here. And I'll have good photos on my blog. I hope I'll have good photos on my blog that will help you see. So anyway, let's just do one beak so you can see how it fits. And dab a little extra glue away. And there you go. That's the beak on the Goldfinch. All right, so let's glue the sides, the cardstock sides to the Goldfinch. And like I said, I looked it up online to kind of get an idea of what a Goldfinch looked like, and I didn't realize, you know, how much white they had on them. They have white stripes on their wings, and they didn't exactly look like the design that I did, but it looks pretty similar, so I thought this was a good design. So anyway, line up your holes. Okay, let's hope I did the beak on the correct side. Yes. And I'll try to do the wing right for the Goldfinch. You know, flip them so that they're opposites. Okay. Go. Line it up. Check to make sure the holes are okay. Smash the tail down. Sometimes it likes to pop up, the tail and the beak. Okay. Alrighty. I went ahead and did one wing. So let's do this wing. Try to do it right. Okay. The hole only goes through the top black piece, the white underwing, and the top black piece on the Goldfinch wing. So it doesn't go through a lot of layers. Okay. And these curves line up pretty well. Just check it with our pen, assuming I can get it through. Did I miss the hole? There's the hole. Maybe. There you go. Alrighty. And let's make the second piece of the wing. I really should be applying it to the black part. Okay, so this piece goes like this. And that lets kind of the white stripe that shows on the wing. And then the bottom part of the wing is white. Alrighty, and now let's apply some glue here and line it up. Check it with the pen. I see it's not quite right, but we will ooch it in place. There you go. Okay, so then the next thing, I didn't realize it, but these Goldfinches have this cute little cap on, and so I made that a part of the pattern. And let's see, I think it goes this way. It's just this cute little black cap. I really like it. And then once again, I get the liquid pearls, or, you know, like I said, puffy paint, or you could even just do a dot. And let me clean it just to make sure I don't make some gigantic blob mistake with y'all watching. There we go. Little goldfinch eye. And when this side's dry, then I'll flip it over and add the wing and the eye and the cap. And so that's the goldfinch. And you can choose to do the glittered version, like I said, just the cardstock version. You can even glitter the cardstock version as well. All right, now let's get to the Bluebird. Like I said, this is the Eastern Bluebird. And the Eastern Bluebird has a kind of a yellow breast. The Western Bluebird has a lighter color blue. So this is a painted version. I'm sorry, I keep making these horse sounds. When I do something wrong, that's what I say. Okay, so this is the cardstock version, and that's the painted version. And again, just like we did with the other ones, let me make sure the hole is free. We'll glue the two cardboard pieces together, including, you know, make sure you get it on the tail. That's the part that tends to pop up, and a little bit on the beak. Glue these two together. Check where the holes are. Okay, so that's the base of the Bluebird. Alrighty, so next, this is the one I've pre-painted. It's just 2 layers of cardboard. And also, I did do the bill ahead of time. And the bill on the Bluebird is slimmer and pointed. I think they eat insects. I think they like mealyworms, apparently. I'm not exactly sure. I'll write about it in my blog. If I'm wrong, I'll put a little correction in the captions. They're beautiful birds. We have them in South Carolina. We don't see a ton of them, but we do have them. And that's really why I chose these 3 sets of birds, because they're the most colorful birds that I see in South Carolina, and I love them. One morning I looked out into my front yard, and there were 6 cardinals just kind of dancing around. I think they were eating some of the seeds from my leftover garden. Okay, so that's lined up. All right, now here's kind of the here's some kind of interesting things you can do with the Bluebird. I like it to have a little dimension on the side, so I'll do that afterwards. But I also think that this part, flip it to this way, I think the white underbelly looks kind of plain, kind of stark. So I got my distress paint, and I just kind of used it just to edge a little bit, just to give a little bit of color, so that the white merges in with the rest of the bird. So, so that's why there's just this faint edge of white, and of blue. And I did the same thing with the yellow breast on the bird. Okay, and it comes together a little bit funny. So I didn't want the layers to overlap too much, so they actually fit together more like a puzzle. Okay, so there, we got that. And now the yellow breast. And we'll just see if we can put it in correctly. So it kind of fits right in there. And sometimes you have to move it forward a little bit. Move the white part and the blue part together, but it doesn't really matter much. Okay, so that is the kind of the understory for the Bluebird. And this is the wing. I did a 4-layer wing, and it kind of curves. You know, the drawing or the photos that I saw look like that, kind of a bit of a curve. And we'll line it up with our hole somehow. I'm too far forward. There we go. Okay, there's the Bluebird wing. It's starting to get its personality. Okay, now we'll flip it over. Let's try to make this wing right. You know, be the right side, the correct. Oh, see, I'm already doing it wrong. I just add, okay, so we should add the next longest piece here. Line up the holes. But then the second to the top piece, and I think I probably did the glue too far down, but that's okay. We'll dab it off. That'll dry. And then the very top piece of the wing, the fourth and top piece. And use our pen, make sure everybody's all lined up right. Okay, go ahead, just leave it there. We'll add some glue to get the wing on. Put the glue inside, the pen inside. Ah, shoot, no. See, danger, danger. Okay, this piece goes like this on this side. Let's just edge it a little tiny bit, give a hint of blue to kind of merge it in with our bluebird. It's a little bit of blue. And this blue is called Salty Ocean, you know. And one reason, you know, in addition to liking the colors, I love what these dabber tops, because they let me distress things and just add these little bits of color and edging, and it's one of my favorite paints. Okay. All right, let's do the same with the orange breast. This part I don't think shows much. And if you're going to do a Western Bluebird, obviously, you know, cut this out of blue instead of orange. Kind of a light orange, a yellowy orange. Okay, let's try to get it lined up right. There, I did better on that one than the front one. Okay, pull our pieces together. Let's redo the glue on the wing. Put the wing in place. Get my pen. Find the hole. Put the pen in place. Dab off excess glue. And that's the Bluebird. Same thing. You're going to add some of the liquid pearl to make an eyeball, and thread. I just think it makes a nice eye. It's easy. It's got some dimension to it, so that's what I like. Okay, same thing. I'll often edge around here just to give a little more. Let's make sure I'm not moving my wing too much. Just to kind of edge give the wing a little more dimension. And if you want, you can paint these parts around the beak. You can paint that yellow. I did that on some of them. I didn't do it on everybody. Ah, shoot. See? See how dangerous I am? Y'all. I'm going to have to paint him now that I put my finger in the stuff. That's what happens during a live demonstration. But anyway, here, let's flip it to the better side. Anyway, you see, it's a cute little bird, and it makes a great decoration. You can hang it from a window. It's a good springtime decoration. So these are the little bird ornaments that I've made for you. The free patterns on my blog, Paper Glitter Glue, and I hope you have some fun making things today. Okay, y'all take care. Bye.